The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on episode 2 of Grasping Opportunities. We've got Erik Mueller and Dave Lukas on with us.
Morning.
Quick reminder.
Hey guys.
Just a quick reminder, if you guys have any questions, please type them out in the questions tab. If there's a question that's, hyper relevant to what we're talking about at the moment, I'll try my best to get to it. But other than that, we'll keep the questions for after the conversation. And without further delay, let's throw this over to Erik and Dave. Take it away, guys.
Morning.
Hey guys. Morning, afternoon, wherever you are. We got people from all the world in this thing, it looks like. So awesome. Well, we're honored to be here with you guys. It's great. Erik and I don't get to do this as much anymore, where we're together with all of you out there around the world. So excited to jump into this today. And I thought, in talking to Erik, where we kind of start, I think a lot of people have asked us, like, guys, what are you seeing? What are your thoughts on everything that's happened since March to this point? And so, Erik, I know you have yours, I have mine. I'll kick off with just my thoughts and kind of the way that we've looked at it from entrepreneurs, what we kind of told our employees, how we are looking at just where this thing's going, and then kind of go back and forth. And please send your questions. Peter will get them to us as you go. When this first started, the thing, I think you remember, Erik, I walked in the management meeting or got on the Zoom for the management meeting. And I said, guys, we have to be prepared for this to go on longer than we think and be worse than we think it is, because we just don't know. Nobody's ever been through a pandemic before, at this point. It's, that sort of thing. And so I didn't know, what that meant. I just knew that it would take some fortitude to get through this. And I was just doing some research at the time and had come across, I don't know, you guys can type it in the chat box. Has anybody here ever heard the story of Vice Admiral James Stockdale before? I know I've talked with some clients about this and people that I've talked to, but if you've heard of it, if you've heard his story, awesome. If you haven't, I'm going to give this to you because I think it is one of the best stories and lessons really for the time that we're in, right? So if you don't know who Vice Admiral James Stockdale was, he was a guy who got shot down in Vietnam and spent over 8 years, or just about 8 years, in the Hanoi Hilton, and tortured every day, all that sort of thing. And he would never allow himself to be used as propaganda. So when he would know or find out that he was maybe going to be paraded out or used for propaganda, he would literally take the leg of a chair off in his cell and beat his face so that he was a bleeding bloody pulp, so they couldn't put him on camera and use him as a prop and that sort of thing. And when he got out years later, Jim Collins from Good to Great fame, if you guys have Good to Great and all that, interviewed him, and he asked him some questions. He asked him, how'd you deal with the such harsh circumstances and the uncertainty? And the thing that he said, and this is where I think it's really important for all of us and just where this industry's at right now, is he said, I never lost faith in the end of the story. I never doubted not only that I would get out, but also that I would prevail in the end and turn this experience into the defining event of my life, which in retrospect, I would not trade. And so he went on with Collins, and Collins said, well, what were the type of people that didn't make it out of the POW camp? Why didn't they make it out? And he said, oh, that's easy. It was the optimists, the ones who said, we're going to be out by Christmas, and then Christmas would come and Christmas would go. And then they say, we're going to be out by Easter, and then Easter would come and Easter would go, or whatever holiday, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas again. And he said they died of a broken heart. And then came the lesson. The lesson that he told Collins is, he said, look, you must never confuse faith, or you must never confuse that faith will prevail in the end. You must never lose your faith, which you just cannot afford to do. But you can't confuse faith with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they may be. And I think, that's kind of where we're at, right? Every day this goes on, there's, total unknowns to the future of things. And, and it's really hard to predict or project what the future is going to be. So we have to focus on what we can control. And every day there are new things that we have to adapt to and figure out and manage around and deal with. But we have to face those brutal facts of the current reality, but never lose the faith that we can prevail in the end. And that's kind of the message that we've given our team at Grasp and how we've carried ourselves through this. And it's find a way, make a way, every single day. So Erik,
Yeah, and just looking at the list of attendees and things like that, I mean, you guys all know what we're talking about. And, I posted an article a few months back just about, it not being our first rodeo. I mean, a lot of you are industry veterans. This isn't the first time that total meltdown and collapse has occurred. I mean, you can almost set your clock to it, right? I mean, I've been thinking that this was going to come. Actually, I thought it would happen in 2018. You never know what it is, but like clockwork, something decimates the travel industry for a period of time. You know what? But we're all still here. I've been doing this 25 plus years, I think in travel over 30 some. And, it does. It just keeps coming around. There's always some change. There's something that turns us all upside down. But, the people in this industry have a lot of heart and a lot of fortitude. We've seen a lot of changes. And I really think that this is another great defining moment. Those of us that survive this and see the other side are going to see a lot of success. It's just really kind of like Dave was saying with this is, just kind of living to fight another day right now. And I've had to make a lot of hard business decisions. I know you all have as well. We've gotten some government assistance and things like that, but remarkably, we still have the majority of our clients, and they continue to survive and are out there. They're taking time to do things with social media. They're taking time to do the things that they probably needed to do before. And I had interviewed a bunch of clients recently looking for things that they're doing right now that are kind of innovative. And one of the things that stood out to me was, just some of the basics are right now innovative. Just excelling at customer service. Working together with your partners. We've done things to support our customers. Our vendors have done things to support us. Some didn't. And the thing is right now, who your real friends are and who your real supporters are. And, that gives me hope and keeps me positive. And honestly, I'm not concerned about the future. So that's where my head's at right now.
So Peter, I know we did have questions that came in ahead of time. Any relate to any of this that we're talking about now? I know that we had some too on the evolving role of like a travel manager and TMCs with them, but anything relevant to what we just talked about?
Yeah, we'll start kind of with the short one. Basically, how is GRASP handling this time of crisis? How are we getting through this?
I guess I can start that, Dave, and you can jump in. We were in a fortunate position. We had paid off a lot of debt the first of the year, or at the back half of last year. So we were in the best financial position that we had ever been in. And we, cash in business. Dave and I are both entrepreneurs. This isn't our first business, so we know that cash is king, and having a good reserve is always smart because you never know what the next day is going to bring. And the travel industry can be volatile at times, so we were prepared financially going into it. We've really only reduced 2 headcount during this. We've been using cash reserves. We did get assistance with PPP. Like everybody, we're just waiting for things to bounce back. And those clients that are really in severe need, we've been helping them out as well. So, things like raises are put on hold and hiring's put on hold, but we continue to sell new business and grow, which is remarkable because the financial crisis, we saw our strongest growth ever, over 300%. And this could be that way for us as well, but we're just waiting. Right now, everybody's holding their breath, it seems. So, and we just want to make sure that we're there and we're fully capable of helping when things do return. So, what do you think, Dave?
No, I think you hit it. It goes back to that fortitude. A time like this, you guys all are. It wears on you. It eats at you. It's every day can seem harder than the next, and it's that fortitude to continue on. I think for us, it's like Erik mentioned earlier, just do one more day. And I had an early business mentor tell me years ago, I survived by just telling myself, I'll do it just one more day. I'll do it just one more day. You know, and then 20 years later, you know, you had almost $1 billion business, right? So the key though is that perspective, I think, you know, talking about how we're getting through this and making sure that we're very in tune with our employees, we're very in tune with our clients, you know, that we're there for you, we're there for them. I think that's the most important thing right now, is to be there for each other, as a shoulder to cry on, as it has been in some cases for me, and somebody to bounce ideas off and innovate with. I was with an agency out of London this morning that, you know, we're working with in some capacity, and we were talking about the innovations they were doing with their clients. So there's some really exciting things happening too, and kind of to what Erik said as well earlier, there's a lot of time to get to things that you just put on the back burner for a long time. In fact, we've had a few of our larger deals that we've been working on for the last 3 years actually find traction in this market because people slow down enough to actually focus on them, right? So I think you can see that too with, you know, corporate clients. If you're an agency, if you're a corporation, you know, same thing. There is changes coming to the way that you're going to manage things as a travel manager, and what you have to adapt to as a TMC with travel manager needs. I mean, heck, the biggest thing a travel manager is going to have to start doing soon is selling people on traveling again. I mean, think about that, you know? I mean, you know, it's like promoting travel within your travel program, right? So it's definitely, it's going to evolve. It's going to twist, turn. I mean, you know, and kind of mentioned the entrepreneurs, we have this like healthy paranoia, I think. You know, I'm kind of always looking over my shoulder, like when things are good, for the shoe to drop. And Erik and I have always ran things like that. Like, you know, if we don't do, you know, we don't keep pushing, we don't keep, you know, on the ball, we don't, you know, we go to excess, you know, that thing can happen to us and take us out tomorrow, right? And it's, you know, 25 years later, right? But it's, you know, we still kind of look at it like that. So I think that's an important thing, is your perspective on it and how you approach each day. And tell yourself you do it one more day.
Yeah, and I'm not the most conservative person in the world, but when it comes to business, I am. So, you know, because it is. And the thing is, as you all know, you know, when you have a lot of employees and customers that depend on you, you know, you have to kind of set yourself up for success so you can continue to support them, because the responsibility doesn't stop with how much money you make and things like that. It's really about supporting those that you love and that are around you. So
yeah, it's definitely an opportunity for us to lead.
you know, and another thing on that is, one thing as we come out of this too is that, you know, data, and it's maybe part of why we're doing as well as we are right now, is, you know, data is so important to decision making. And although the numbers are down considerably, access to that information and new ways of looking at things as we all retool our businesses for this new environment, having the right information, and we've always been a data-driven business. I mean, I track how much water I drink, how many, you know, everything in my life, and that
Red Bull
business is. But you know, it is, and the numbers tell a story, and they guide you to the right path. You know, we're all subject to bias and gut and impressions of things. But the funny thing is if you look at data, especially along a long enough timeline, there's always a pattern that emerges, and those patterns are really the arrows to the right direction. So.
Oh, another thing that's helped out a lot during these times, bourbon. So,
I've gone
Peter,
the opposite way on that, actually.
So on the sort of on the same topic as you know, the current experiences everyone is having, like many other companies, Grasp is primarily a remote and home-based workforce now more than ever. What 3 attributes do you guys believe you need to work from home and succeed in business? And also, how do you sort of maintain that collaborative and supportive culture?
Erik, I'll take the attributes, then you can talk about what we've done in our culture. I mean, we've been predominantly over 50% remote for probably 8 years at this point as a company. So again, we were kind of positioned for this, and it was common for, grasshoppers to be working, from home and remotely and stuff. So things that we look for that are really important is you have to have this uncanny ability to figure things out on your own. You have to be resourceful, and I think that goes for anybody in this society in this day and age, but displaying, really good resourcefulness to be able to find a way, make a way, figure things out. If there are resources that you need aren't available to help you, that, that ability to go the next step and figure it out on your own, that's a really important thing that we look for. Integrity is a really important thing alongside of that. So you got to be resourceful, but you got to have the integrity to stay in and do it, right? It's really easy to, turn the computer off at 2 o'clock right now and go do something else, right? And nobody would know the wiser, right? So it's the integrity to do the job, right? And do it to your best of your ability. And then the last thing is be willing to ask for help. When you're remote, you're on it, I won't say on an island, although it can feel that way if you're new to it. I've worked remote at home from this office for over a decade, and I don't feel like I'm on an island because, everybody's a fingertip away through the tools that we have and stuff. But you have to be willing to ask for help. And that's something that we look for in people too, that, they don't just stop, when they hit a roadblock, they ask for help, and they, continue to back to the resourcefulness, find the way. So be resourceful, ask for help, and have the integrity to do the job. And you look for those things in somebody, and you'll do just great from somebody working from home. So Erik, you can talk about how we keep everybody together and all the fun, crazy stuff we do.
And it's something else, consistency, and that is really what we've upped our game as far as that goes. I mean, we've always had remote employees. Another thing is I owned and ran an IT services company, so we've always had that virtual technology, and we actually sell a product like that, and that's been obviously doing really well for us. A lot of travel agencies have fully moved to the cloud on our platform, but that's always something we've pushed. But just being consistent, we changed our management practices about a year and a half ago, and we started doing regularly scheduled virtual meetings, and people like that consistency, knowing that, hey, we're going to be doing this at this time. I used to do something called One on Wednesdays. It was a 1-minute video every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and wherever I was, whatever I was doing, I would just take a minute at 1 o'clock, and I'd record whatever I was thinking on my mind, and we'd always push that out to the team. When the pandemic hit, we expanded it to 1 hour on Wednesdays, and it was really just an open town hall that any employees could come in, express concerns, ask questions, bring ideas, and and we make it theme-based and stuff like that. We've continued to expand on that. So that's been a really wonderful time for everybody, I think, because they get on and we talk about things like what people are growing in their garden, what customers.
Tiger King was like a 3-week run there, right?
Yeah, we had, it just, whatever's in the news, wherever the topic is of the day, what's going on with the business. And it's, we also do something that we call the Highly Dangerous Project Team. And it's a group of volunteer employees that meet on a monthly basis, and they come up with ideas for culture building activities and games and things like that. We do all kinds of nutty things. We've written a cookbook. The team wrote a mystery novel, little things like that. And these are all ideas. We've given a budget, and the employees, it's employee run and employee managed, so they do all of the things around the holidays and stuff like that. And just they've been doing more and more of those kind of things during the pandemic just to keep people connected. So and it's built a great sense of community within the organization. So, and it allows us to take a little time each week to focus on not only on our business but on socializing with each other. So we always share what's going on with the business that week, and then open it up to questions, and then just general chat. And the more we do it, the more engaged people get. It's wonderful. People that wouldn't say anything, a few years ago are now,
leading the charge.
Yeah.
It's interesting though with the way we build things. It's great because we're obviously on video and everything, but there are still people in Grass that I've never met in person. that are employees that I've only ever met through this, because of being home-based and stuff. So, the relationships, the way you can develop them, even through something like this, is incredible still, right, in today's age. I look forward to meeting all of them if I can ever travel again. Yeah, so, there is that. The other side of this is your systems, right? So it's important that you make sure that you have really good systems in place for this. Erik mentioned, us changing our way we manage the business and stuff. And that was really, we had good systems at that point, but we took it to the next level in the leadership systems and the things we put in place and the accountability and everything and the visibility that came with that too. And that's made a huge difference. And it's made a big difference on us as leaders too and owners in a business, because it's allowed and empowered our teams and our leadership teams to take more on and do more of that stuff. And it's actually been, a little bit of a relief too, I think, to Erik and I, and that we don't have to be involved in everything anymore and stuff, which is really, really nice. So.
Yeah, and reaching out and talking to clients, I mean, the amount of time I spend on the phone with clients seems to be a lot more, because there has been a vacuum left by the lack of conferences and things like that. A lot of times the communication would wait until we were face to face, and and that's not it. I text and I call and things like that with clients, far more frequently now than I ever did before. And we're all sharing best practices and helping each other get through the day. Some days are great, some days not so much. So and when that happens, and it's just funny, it's really nice to have that deeper connection. Again, when we were small and it was, we had 18, 25 clients, it was easy for me to call everybody once a week. Now, we're in the hundreds and hundreds of clients, and that habit, you kind of get out of the habit because it's so daunting. But remarkably, I'm finding the time now. So.
Any follow-ups on that, Peter? Anything that's around that topic?
Yeah. Well, let's actually we'll get to some let's get to some industry questions. What are the major changes that you guys expect to see in the industry? Do you guys have anything planned to cope with these changes? Are there any new and exciting projects that Grass is working on? Can perhaps talk about?
Erik, I'll let you start on this one, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, some things we've connected with a bunch of people that are starting new things. We're talking with a company that's is trying to look at managing rating cleanliness of hotels. We're getting all kinds of requests for data from different companies that are looking to start new things or looking to expand the way that they manage data. They want more data sources. They want to do more with the information that they have. It was heartbreaking to me when ACT filed for bankruptcy, but immediately Sue Lichtenstein and a small group of people started something called TAMS, and I'm working with them on developing standards for the travel industry. I'm on the team that's working on data standards. Which is going to be really, really cool. I mean, some of the smartest people in the industry have jumped on this bandwagon. I think they went from, 10 people to almost 2,000 people in under a month involved in this organization. So it's really exciting. And the one thing that this industry needs more than anything is standards.
Oh, that's great. We haven't had, it's been the Wild West of data ever since it has been in place, right? And we're still working on systems from the 1960s, at least the underpinning. Yeah. COBOL, anyone? COBOL? Trends, things that are going to change. Obviously, organizations are going to lean out. So if somebody's going to be traveling from a corporate standpoint, there's going to be a lot more visibility around it. There's going to be a lot more, that has to probably boxes to be checked to be able to travel, at least in the shorter term, I'd say the next 12 to 18 months, that corporations are going to highly scrutinize it, but they're also going to really look at the data. So, bringing together the different data sets are going to be key, right? Your expense, your credit card, your TMC data, HR hierarchy data, all that, combined in the soup, but then tying all the data across it, which is, a lot of what we do for the enterprise space and clients like that is tying it together so you can see the true cost of the trip and then where it fits in to their business model plan, all that type of stuff in their program. So I think there's going to be a lot more visibility on that. I think a lot of, coming into this, things were flying high. People were, a lot of things were an after, thought. People would get reports or things like that, probably wouldn't look at them as much. Now they're scrutinizing down to the penny, right? So I think you're going to see that continue. We talked about in the beginning, the travel manager's role is going to change a lot in that they are going to be a promoter of travel, and just getting people to feel comfortable with going, but then also having to, there used to be, we always used to talk about duty of care, it takes on a whole new meaning now, right? And so, that's the other thing. And then the other thing we have to watch is, frankly, legislation from around the world. Currently, there still is no legislation that says you can't sue, a business or something like that, from getting COVID, even if you maybe can't prove that you got it from there, right? So there's going to have to be something done around that. I know there are waivers being signed and stuff, but it's all over the place. Everybody's different, right? Every business is different. You go to your local gym, they have you sign one thing. You go on a plane, they have you sign another, right? So I think there needs to be something standardized around that. We'll probably see something around that come about. There's going to be, different things across the pond with all of that as well, too, I would imagine. We'll see what happens with GDPR and all that stuff. It seems to change every 3 years. So we've got something new in place now that nobody knows really how to deal with yet. There's no serious guidelines that have been posted on that. So we're going to have to navigate those waters, And then I will say this. Definitely virtual payments are going to be contactless payments. That sort of thing is going to be a huge thing. We're seeing it. GrassPay is up 137% from the bottom in April already. Some clients have returned to their pre-COVID levels in using virtual payment credit cards for their needs. So I think that's going to take on a whole bigger picture as well, not just from the contactless side and the safety side, but also from the tracking and the spend side and the scrutiny that's going to put on all that. So those are some big trends I see 12 to 18 months out.
Yeah, duty of care is going to get an insane amount of focus. So, and it needs to be way more structured. It's just such a huge liability for a corporation. And the more travel agencies promote that and develop a high level of expertise in managing duty of care, I think that there's a huge value there. And it's something I've always kind of harped on is that, travel agencies need to start thinking of themselves differently. The fact they issue tickets and provide consulting services and things like that to their corporate account, all that stuff's important, but really more as things evolve and as the industry changes, it's really technology integration too is a huge opportunity for the TMC market. At least the more that they can master the software that they promote and sell and that the corporations use, I think that's a huge potential revenue stream. Companies, the different online booking engines and expense management software companies out there lack the expertise and the desire to provide a high level of training and support for their products. That's somewhere where the travel agencies can definitely, if they can master that, there's a lot of potential revenue there that they can use to fill out their income stream. So,
also helping with policy changes now around travel, right? There's going to be a ton, the unmanaged programs are going to have to get managed in some ways around their policy and what they put in place that their travelers have to follow and all that stuff. That stuff's all going to need to be tracked. It's going to need to be, quote unquote managed, but you're really going to need to make sure you're effective in that for the safety of travelers. So huge opportunities getting with, if you're a TMC, getting with clients on policy. If you're a, corporation, don't go it alone. Use your partners to help you with really putting the right things in the policy in place and then how you track it and all of that's going to be a huge thing. And again, that's going to continue to evolve because people don't know what they don't know yet, right? All of us do. And it's, again, there's a lot of unknowns that still happen as travel begins to come back. And we saw today, which was pretty encouraging, TSA's up at 150,000 for the last week. It's the, fourth week of gains in a row now. So we are seeing that coming, going up every week. So more and more people are traveling, more and more things are going to happen, situations are going to happen, and we're going to start to see these things bubble up. And being in tune with that from a policy perspective, from staying on top of changes that need to be made, I think it's going to be not a set it and forget it thing like it's been in the past. It's going to be a almost daily evolving, changing thing that has to be kept up with.
Yeah, and to that point is, and it's something that we're working on internally, is we're moving all of our platforms to a newer technology. It's called streaming data. So real-time access to data across all of the different software packages and things like that are going to help support the customer or the travelers while they're in transit, and bringing in more and more data sources together. We're seeing more APIs and things like that open up, and the ability for all the different vendors and customers and that to communicate in real time, I think is going to allow us to return to travel faster as well. So, you have other questions, Peter?
Yeah, sort of kind of on the same topic. How will the role of a travel manager change, and how will a travel agency sort of work with that change?
Well, it's it's really I think they're going to have a closer connection with the individual travelers, because their role will really be to support the travelers that are on the road. I think, back to that duty of care thing, it's going to shift, and it's going to be more intimate, hopefully. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for the future. That's what comes out of this.
I think finance is going to be a lot more involved, maybe through procurement, but finance, looking and scrutinizing things, kind of like what I said earlier about, the fact that everything's going to need to be tracked. There's going to need to be really solid reasons to travel, probably a set of boxes to check before someone can travel, where before they would have been able to. Now it's, you're going to need to, hit a certain set of boxes or check boxes that you're going to need to have to do that, and you're going to have to work with that. I think you're going to see in some places that, there obviously travel departments within corporations. We're seeing this, being, definitely collapsed, right? So where you had maybe, 4 or 5 people, had your own internal analysts, that type of stuff. That stuff's going away, and only the travel managers left. So they're going to need a lot more help. So there's a lot of opportunity to work together there with, each other, us, you as a TMC, you as a travel manager, all working together to really help fulfill those needs around a program that, are definitely, you had the staff for it before, but maybe you don't now and aren't going to in the future. You're going to look to outsource. I think you're going to see a lot more outsourcing across the board in the industry, as a whole. I think people are going to take it, people are going to run lean for until they have certainty. Think about business. Business is certainty, right? When you have certainty about the future, you can make decisions, right? We're business owners. When we're certain about where things are going to be in the future, we can make good decisions. When you're not certain about the future, it makes it really hard to do that. So there's a timidness to that, right? There's a kind of like the hot pot, right? You reach out, you touch the pot, and it's hot, and you step back, right? And you keep trying to do it, but you're going to get burned in different ways, and you're going to have to adapt to that. I think that's kind of what we're going to see, at least until we have some sort of treatment. I don't know what we'll get a vaccine. Remember, we have a vaccine for the flu, and people still get the flu, and people still have issues with the flu. So I don't know if a vaccine is the panacea for it, but definitely a consistent treatment that can be counted on, I think, will be definitely a huge boon to this industry and business in general.
All right, and we're sort of at the last of the emailed questions. Let's see if I can get this all in one breath. What is the future plan to use more GDS-centric direct data throughout the reports and tools to get up-to-date, closer to real-time data, rather than ticketed office data with unknown status if a flight has been taken as ticketed?
I'm guessing who answered that. I'm going to send you an email because I know who you are. I won't call you out, but Erik, go ahead.
And I just kind of touched on that. We're making investments in GDS Access. Today, we like being an independent third party. We don't like being affiliated directly with a GDS and things like that. So we acquire data a lot of times through a third party. Like if you have a mid-office system or whatever, we're going to acquire PNR data from that. Our move to real time, like right now, we're beta testing a version of our Secure Connect Sync software. And literally, as you make changes in the back office system, it becomes available. It's the same thing with the GDS data. So we're going to keep implementing data sources. This new platform also allows us to connect to a wider variety of data sources in real time. And it's literally, as the record is being changed, it's appearing in our solution, and it gets quicker into the reporting platform. So we should be out of proof of concept by the end of this year. First quarter of next year, we'll probably be starting into beta at the end of first quarter. So look for that. But this is going to give us the ability to onboard and adapt to a wider variety. We're also looking at maybe doing some acquisitions in the space to bring that capability in, so that we're doing more on the GDS front. But it's not going to be limited to the GDS. It's going to be direct with the airlines. It's going to be direct with all the suppliers. That's my dream, or my hope, is that eventually we have the platform that allows everybody to communicate in real time, no matter who their suppliers are. So that's my goal.
Yeah, the other side of that coin, though, is, are you ready for the cost that's associated with doing that? Because it means there's a lot, it costs us a lot more to do those sort of things. So that means that prices that go to our clients have to go up and stuff, right? And so right now is not necessarily the time to do that, I would think. You guys would agree with me on that? So, there's a balance to that, right? So, but from what Erik said, we are actively adding in new data sets, experimenting with them. He hasn't totally let the cat out of the bag. He's kind of talked about the base of the platform and everything, but let's just say 2021, I would expect, I don't know, this is just like grass data is gonna be different in 2021. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And if nothing else, that this has been very beneficial for us. The thing is, we've always been very customer centric. A lot of our resources are focused on the front line and things like that, and we really pride ourselves on, we still answer the phones.
With a person.
I've never had like an automated attendant, and that's something I never want to have. I like that personal touch. I like engaging. Our ideas come from our customers, but that's kind of what really drives us. So.
On the as a follow-up, are you guys taking TMC clients to volunteer for the beta of Secure Connect?
Absolutely.
We're not there. We are, but we haven't opened it up for that, right? There's still a little bit more before we do that, right?
Yeah, the beta won't open up until really end of first quarter next year. So, because we've got the sync running, but then there's the whole transformation part needs to be rewritten and that kind of stuff to get it into it. And it's going to work with all the existing platforms, but we'll also be starting to deliver new products in the back half of next year. And this new platform allows almost anybody to build their own products against our data warehouse as well. That's another big advancement. Would be anybody that can bring their own BI if they want, or if they want to build an application against the data collection, because that's something we really do well, is collecting and getting and transforming and improving the data. If people want to really differentiate themselves, they need to start thinking about building their own platform, either on their own or in conjunction with us. There's a lot of great ideas out there, and we can't make all of them. So as much as we'd like to try, so it's going to definitely make it easier for people to develop new things and to do more with data. So there's some great products out there and great things evolving on these cloud-based platforms. So people will be able to take advantage of a lot of the new visualization tools and AI and machine learning tools and do things themselves in-house even. So we're just preparing for that future.
All right. Well, let's. I'm going to give it a little bit while longer. See if there are any questions that want to come through.
We're curious for you guys. I mean, you don't necessarily hear, but send us what you guys are seeing. Send us what's working for you. out there too. I think the information is better shared in this environment than kept to ourselves. So if there's, anything that you guys are finding that is green shoots and stuff that you see, I think that's important. I will tell you, I can tell you the people that are, when I talk to TMCs that are closing accounts, they're doing it on a couple things. They're doing it with virtual payment. They're doing it by bringing the different data sets together with the client and helping them with the policy. Those are the big areas that when I talk to TMCs that are like, we're closing contracts with new clients. Now, they may not be transacting yet. They may not be, getting much volume out of it yet, but they're taking market share and growing, their market share. And those are the areas that they definitely are focusing on.
It looks like the questions have gone dry. Is there anything else that you guys want to sort of throw in there? Any note that you want to end on?
Eric, you go ahead, and then I've got something I want to end on. I think is important.
Yeah, just some of the things that I've seen out there. We work with a lot of large host agencies and associations, and we work with most of the major consortiums. Events were hit really hard by this. I've seen some clients do some really innovative things with moving to virtual, and they've had a lot of success. One of them, yeah, the thing is a lot of their revenue too came from meetings and that kind of stuff. So a lot of them have moved to virtual, and they've been very successful at it. I mean, you guys should all see it. The amount of video content and the amount of social media content that the TMCs and the technology companies are creating, at least the ones that are really pushing the envelope a little bit. LinkedIn is filled with great information, great white papers, great content that people just didn't take the time to create before, and to increase their visibility, as well as provide information to educate the industry. I think that stuff's great. And if you guys want to know more, look on LinkedIn, look for TAMS. Travel and Meeting Standards is the organization. Get involved with that. There's a ton of super smart people in that group doing some really cool things, and trying to move the industry really forward by a big leap.
Yeah, that's and to that. If you haven't seen it, we've been doing. We redid our website and added in, blog, and we have video stuff, and you can sign up to get alerts from us every time we put out new content, which is every week on things. So we're doing it like as we go, what we're seeing in real time, we're putting out stuff. And so if you're not following us on LinkedIn, or you're not tied into that, you check it out. It's maybe something that you want to follow. The kind of last thing I'll leave everybody with, and we kind of started with talking about how perspective is important. And, I just want to tell you guys how you may not realize how much of a miracle that you are. Most people don't know that their chances of being alive are 1 in 4 trillion. So I don't know if you know that, but that's the same as if like the population of San Diego or Chicago all got a dice, a trillion-sided dice, and all rolled it at the same time and came up with the exact same number. That's your chances of being alive. So we're all here at this moment for a reason, and whatever you chalk that up to is your thing, but we're here because trillions of others weren't. And so we need to make the most of it, and we need to take that to heart, because we're very lucky, even in these times to be here, because for us to be here, just so many others that could have been or not. So 1 in 4 trillion, that's you. You're 1 in 4 trillion. So thank you guys all so much for coming on this and spending your time with us. And we hope you got something out of it. And feel free to send us follow-up questions or anything. And I think, Peter, we're recording this and putting it out. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone here's on our email list. Of course, we'll be sending out a recording of it, probably either tomorrow or the day after. So feel free to share this episode around. We have many more planned and upcoming. We'll be sending out, frequent reminders and additional information. So.
Yeah, and if we can help you in your business, I mean, don't hesitate to reach out. I mean, Dave and I are very available. So, I mean, we will always take the time to return your calls. And if you want to bounce some ideas off of us, or if there's anything we can help you with, or any way that we can support you, and if you just need a shoulder to cry on, we're always here. So,
or just somebody to listen.
All right. Well, yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Peter.
Have a great rest of your week. Take care.
All right. Bye, everyone.